Hey there, it's Shawn Bayley. In this video, I'm going to share with you an interview that I recently did with my good friend Ryan White over at the local small business marketing show, and we talked about local lead generation for your small business.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Local Small Business Marketing Show. My name is Ryan White, and on the call today, I have marketing expert Shawn Bayley, and we're going to be talking about lead generation and how you can use that in your business to attract, nurture, and convert more ideal prospects. How you doing, Shawn?
I'm doing real good, Ryan.
Awesome. So let's get right into it for our guests here. Let's just get a quick overview of who you are and kind of what you do.
For sure. So my name's Shawn Bayley, and I'm the co-founder of PMA Lifestyle, and that's a marketing company, but what we really like to focus on is business coaching. And what sets us apart and kind of what makes us different from other marketing companies is that we're really big students and implementers of conversion marketing. So we like to teach our students and show people how to identify in any marketing funnel, whether it's a lead generation funnel, sales funnel, webinar funnel, anything. There's going to be certain things that we call conversion points, where there's like kind of a regular way of doing it and then a conversion optimized way of doing that. And as we go through this here, I'll kind of identify and talk a little bit more about conversion points. But ultimately, our goal is to help people avoid becoming advertising victims, which means they go and they spend their good money on advertising. So we want to help them make sure that it's backed up by accountable marketing and they can track the return on investment instead of throwing money at some type of ads or marketing and using what I call hope marketing, which means they spend some money on advertising and marketing and hope that it works.
Absolutely. So why would a local small business owner want to consider this different kind of marketing when, say, everyone's telling them that they should be getting their name out there, they should be using image advertising? Can you kind of give us a little bit of, you kind of talked about the different kind of conversion points, but what kind of leads people into doing more lead generation versus just, one-shot selling like you would see in, say, a typical Yellow Pages where they're just advertising by price or just listing their, service offering, how many years in business? Can you give us an example of that?
Yep. So the main reason is that the barrier to entry is really small now, that you only really need 2 websites to get started with a very powerful lead generation model. Now, there's lots of hundreds of marketing solutions out there, but you don't really need to get solutions for problems that you don't have. You can build your house list, email list, so to speak, with just a few technical pieces. All you need is just a couple websites and some type of email autoresponder to start collecting email addresses. And once you've got that, then you can market to them with email marketing whenever you want.
Okay, and you're talking about a house list as just basically what they might know more as is their, customer database, prospect database.
Exactly.
And we'll get into more of what these email marketing services can actually do versus housing, what they might have, their whole database in an Excel spreadsheet.
Exactly. Yep. I've got some more about that. We'll talk more about tools and strategies here in a little bit.
Awesome. So before they get started, what are some things that they need to consider? As far as marketing material, I know a lot of businesses, they get kind of overwhelmed thinking about this, but most of the stuff they would need to do lead generation, they already know because they've been doing that business for 5, 10, 20 years. So could you just go over a couple of things about what to consider before getting started with the lead generation?
Yep. So there's 3 things really. Most people are going to know their target audience, but if they don't, they really want to make sure that they have it narrowed down to a complete customer avatar. Like for me, for one of my marketing campaigns, I have a customer avatar named Susie. I know everything about Susie. I know the TV shows she watches. I know how many kids she has. I know the kind of car she drives. I know how she votes. Because the more specific I am with her, the better I can make my targeting, whether I'm advertising online or offline. But when you're using something like Facebook, this has unbelievable targeting options. So the better you know your customer avatar, the better that you can target them with your sales messages. Now, when you are crafting your sales messages, the more that you're able to not only just know your customer avatar, but where they hang out and find out more information from them, you're able to use things like insider language, which is going to make your sales messages even more effective. Now, the second thing that you want to consider is that you've got your irresistible offer. After you've spent all this time and money to convert them from a visitor into a lead, the job of your irresistible offer is to convert them straight away into a customer. And the last thing to consider is to make sure that they start simple. Once they start looking around at some of the digital marketing options, they might feel a little bit overwhelmed with the just sheer volume of tools and products out there. But it's very easy to start simple, make it work on a small scale, because you can always ramp up the amount of traffic and complexity that you've got.
Awesome. So just to kind of recap, I totally, where you're talking about targeting their audience, I mean, they know, and if they don't know, they can quickly go back into their customer database and find out, who are our most profitable customers, who are the types of people that, bring us referrals. And I feel like a lot of them don't even know that through their messaging and through the media, you can kind of pinpoint who you're targeting to and get that message that you're talking about in front of people who are most receptive to it in that aspect. And I feel like a lot of small business owners, they kind of limit themselves to how they target strictly based on the media. So they might be saying the same message in different media sources. For example, you might see, a plumbing company with the same message in a Valpak as they do in the Yellow Pages, even though, the Yellow Pages goes on nearly, everyone's doorstep, but the people that are looking for a solution in the Yellow Pages are different from someone who's using a Valpak, for example. Do you agree there?
I do, yeah, exactly. The one of the things that can really, or one of the mistakes that I hear lots of times is when we talk to a small business and ask them who they're targeting or who their audience is, and a lot of times they'll say everyone, and that's not the case at all. So with people like that, most of them are going to know their target audience, but for the ones that don't, we're able to help them drill down and figure out their customer avatar.
All right, and just so this isn't too overwhelming, and I know you were talking about having 2 websites. Let's talk about just adding a secondary means of response to their current ads. Say they've got an ad in the Yellow Pages, and rather than redo the whole ad, that ad might be currently bringing them in business rather than to just scratch that all. How could we add something, a buy line for, the majority of people who aren't yet ready to buy? What are some things that they can do to get started there?
Yeah, so a quick amendment would be to add in a line for something like a free report or a discount code or a free session that drives them to a website. So an example would be a line that says, go to ShawnBayley.com/free report. Now, this is one of those conversion points that I was talking about. Instead of using something like free report, which is kind of generic, it would be like, say, / incredible money-saving guide. Now, an even easier method would be to put a line somewhere in their existing advertising that says, on your phone or using your mobile, text business help to 22444 to get your free report that will show you how to double your leads in the next 10 days. So you don't even need, for something like that, you don't even need a website, and you can start bringing in leads that way. And everyone's got a mobile phone, so.
Absolutely. And it helps get the people who aren't willing to get on the phone. Even though the business might be super helpful and everything, I think people just in the past have been burned at some point, where they get on the phone and you get some high pressure sales. And this secondary means of response is what you're saying is it kind of offers a no stress, easy to kind of fulfill that desire for more information without quite getting ready to get on the phone with someone. Is that correct?
Exactly right.
All right, and I know we touched kind of on the mechanics, but let's kind of just break down what this looks like at kind of a very simple but kind of a step-by-step basis. A lot of small business owners might not exactly know the specific mechanics. Like, they get the what, but they don't get the how. So if we could, let's get a little overview of what's going on there.
For sure. This is a biggie, so I'm going to talk about the pieces, and then I'll talk about the tools that you need to implement those pieces. So the first one that we need is going to be some type of landing page. Sometimes it's called a squeeze page. I kind of go back and forth on the terminology. But what it is a website that people are going to land on after they've clicked on your Facebook ad, or maybe they saw the line in the yellow pages, but this is a web page that they're going to land on that's going to have some type of call to action. Now, the nice thing is even if you have an existing website with WordPress, most of the tools and things out there plays really nicely with WordPress. Even if you don't, there are certain tools that will allow you to create a website and have it up literally within minutes. So on your squeeze page, you're also going to have some type of call to action. So again, this is a conversion point type of thing. A regular call to action would say something like, click here to sign up. Now, a conversion optimized call to action is going to say something like, yes, I want a flood of new customers for my business, or get access to the money saving report now, because we want to use benefits and urgency on our calls to action. Now, the second piece is going to be what's called a thank you page. Now, this is after they've taken the time to type in their email address and click the button. This is the page where they're going to land after they've entered their email address. And unfortunately, I still see this nowadays, is a lot of businesses, a lot of people waste this opportunity. And I call it an opportunity because they type in their email address, they hit submit, and they land on a page, just a generic blank page or white page that says, thanks for subscribing. Now, at that moment, when they've taken the time to type in their email address and click submit, you actually have their total attention, and that's incredibly valuable. And incredibly valuable because of the amount of information overload that people are subjected to nowadays. So when you have that total attention, why not get them to do something else? And there's a lot of different things that you can have them do on the thank you page. Now, the third piece is what we call an email autoresponder. Now, there's a ton of options out there, and I'm going to kind of go right into the tools part here, and I'll cover email right at the end. But so for building something like a landing page, you have companies out there like Optimized Press, Lead Pages, InstaBuilder, ClickFunnels is another one. Now, these ones here, you don't have to worry about coding or whatnot. These companies, they use templates, so all you're really doing is just filling in your words and your pictures, making a few changes, hit publish, and you're good to go. And even if something like that still seems a little bit too technical for you, don't let that hold you back from taking action, because there's things out there like, good old Fiverr.com or Elance. Odesk.com is another one where you can outsource and get that kind of technical stuff taken care of if you need to. Now, those types of things will take care of your landing page and your thank you page. For email marketing, you've got solutions out there like MailChimp it's still a free service for your first 2,000 subscribers and 10,000 emails a month. So for some businesses, that might serve them fine for many, many years. You've got other services like Aweber and GetResponse, which are a bit more entry level. And then you've got your higher level marketing and automation platforms, which are kind of like all-in-one services, definitely with a higher price tag attached to them. And that's going to be something like Drip or Infusionsoft. And these are the kind of powerful tools that let you do advanced marketing campaigns. And I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to expansion.
Okay. Yeah, and it's important to note if what you just said was kind of overwhelming for them, all of the providers that you kind of listed, they all have their own certified consultants, if you will, that know those programs in and out, and for very reasonable fees can set you up with almost an entire funnel. Like I know some of the ClickFunnels consultants, they're fairly reasonably priced, and they can literally do the email, they can set up all your pages and get your funnel, live. Really, if we're talking about simple like lead generation funnels like this, I've seen guys turn them around in less than a day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Lots of them will have their own associated job boards as well, where if you use a service and you want something done, you can post on there, and they have a host of freelancers that can help you out.
Awesome. All right. So now that we've talked about kind of the technical know-how, let's kind of give some options. So say the local small business owner's got some offline ads out there. I know we previously touched on these, your things like your yellow pages, your yellow book, your Valpak, ads in the newspaper. What's kind of the methodology? Do you suggest going and taking them online, or kind of do something like a free recorded message where you're not taking them online, but you're still delivering, information and capturing details, not in an online sense? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we'll give you kind of a sample. I'll do two here. So an offline to online kind of sample campaign, you'd have something where it's your storefront, or maybe a Yellow Pages ad, or say an ad in a niche-related magazine. So this would drive them to, it could drive them to a landing page where they enter the email address, or like you said, it could have a number where they call a free recorded message, and then there's another step to the funnel. But ultimately, this is to get them to register or claim a reward. And after they've entered their information and you've captured it, then you can start them through, a comprehensive email campaign. Ultimately, those emails are going to nurture them and ultimately direct them to either a website or e-commerce page or sales page. Now, on the other side of that, if you wanted to do something with an online to offline campaign, that would start with an online ad, say something on Google or Facebook, or again, a niche-related website. That's going to drive them to your website where they enter their email address. Now, where it differs is after they enter their email address, and they click submit, they land on the thank you page, you offer them, say, a free or a physical version of the report, or maybe even a different report that they have to enter in their mailing address for. So you can charge, say, $5.95 for this DVD to cover the shipping and handling. Now, this is great because you can show up, unlike your competition, because you can send them further sales letters or offers in the mail. This is important because I'm a big believer in email marketing, but people nowadays are getting hit with, I read a stat that was said upwards of 148 emails in a day. Now, the last time that I went to the mailbox, I had 4 pieces of mail that were directly addressed to me. So you have to ask yourself, which one do you want to compete with, 148 or 4? So the nice thing about physical mail as well is you don't have to worry about things like bidding on clicks with mail or how many characters you're limited to. And the cherry on top of this one is that you can follow up with them with either physical or email marketing, or preferably a combination of both.
Absolutely. And like you're saying, just the email inbox is just so cluttered nowadays. And just to be able to have that two-sided approach, it's kind of the best of both worlds. You've got people with a cell phone in their hand all day, so they're easy access to your emails, but at the same time, they're getting so many that if they're busy and it doesn't catch their attention, it's almost like a Twitter news feed, where if they didn't get it within the first couple minutes, it's gone. And, the open rates of emails have continually gone down as far as like general industry standards. Whereas, like you're saying, you got 4 pieces of mail. If it doesn't look like a bill or an invoice and it's something that's relevant to a conversation that's already going on and your prospect's mind that's interesting, they're going to take a look at it. So that's a great piece of advice.
All right. So thanks for joining us on this episode of the Local Small Business Marketing Show. This is part 1 of the lead generation series with marketing expert Shawn Bayley. We're going to be going over advanced strategies on how you can boost your conversions in your marketing process once you start getting some data and really understand how people are interacting with your marketing funnel. We're going to be going over short-term follow-up as well as long-term follow-up, and just some advanced strategies on how you can get the best results from your lead generation marketing campaign. And if you're interested to see how this kind of marketing campaign fits in the entire foundation of a marketing system within your business, you can go to ryanwhitehq.com/MOC. That stands for Marketing Opportunity Checklist. And it basically just goes over different areas where you can find out what might be costing you the most as far as customers or prospects, as well as where your biggest opportunities are. Maybe it's lead generation, maybe it's follow-up, maybe it's onboarding and offboarding as far as the delivery of your service, or maybe it's generating referrals. You can find all that at ryanwhitehq.com/MOC, and we'll see you on part 2.
So there you have it, part 1 of my interview with Ryan White. You can tell we had a great time talking over lead generation and all the aspects of it. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know if I should go ahead and actually do a part 2 video for this.